Adam Lerner, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about a home studio portrait or headshot session that I did here with my buddy Keith, and kind of the simplicity behind it. However, what I did to get this shot, and some things like maybe you guys want to think about if you're trying to do the same kind of thing. So recently I purchased a set of the Paul Buff Einstein lights, which are amazing. I've been looking at them for a long time now, and a lot of the reason for my decision to go with them is because they are similar in a lot of ways to shooting with speed lights. They have the same kind of 9-stop dynamic range. They have same kind of incremental tweaks that you can do. Obviously a lot more power. The color balance on them is really fantastic. They're lightweight, they're portable, and they also have a little Pocket Wizard module. It's a little extra thing that you can buy. You put that thing in there and you can control your lights and the power to each light in groups just like you can with the Flex TT5 and your speed lights. So for this particular shot, I had an Einstein to camera left, and it was a 47-inch Octa box, which is a really kind of cool thing. It provides like a really kind of a specular light, although it's very soft because it's big and has a nice wash. There's 2 layers of diffusion in there. Very, very cool. And then what I did is I had just a seamless backdrop, and I did basic high key cross lighting. So that means that I had 2 Einsteins on the back, and they were kind of crisscrossing with each other. I'll put up the lighting diagram so you guys can get a sense of that. The reason why you do that is that one kind of cancels out the other. You put them at the same power, you put them in the same group, and they create a nice even wash against the background. The other thing that kind of happened just incidentally is because of my flash to subject distance, meaning that I've got a very small apartment and not a whole lot of room to work in, the whole lighting rig was very condensed. It was much tighter than I would normally want to shoot in a studio. In fact, I was kind of like just wrangling through between all the stands and my tripod and everything. It was really a very small space, which made it difficult. And particularly when you're dealing with powerful lights, you bring big powerful lights into a small space, you really have to try to control that light as best as possible, which was not easy. I would have potentially wanted to kick up the power a little bit more in my background, but when I did so, I got way too much wash. You've got some really nice wash on this cheek here, which I like. I'm very happy about what happened over here, and I'll use the mouse to show you guys that. But again, if I put the kickers up too much, it would have washed the background, would have been too soft, and the results wouldn't have been exactly to my liking. What else can I tell you about this shot? Oh, one other thing that I did is I took a, just a circular 5-in-1. I think it was a 40-inch. I put that on the ground in front of him, and I took I think it was actually, let me just try to think. I think it was a Lumopro. Yeah, it was a Lumopro. It was zoomed to 24 millimeters at, I think like maybe 1/8 power, something like that, and it was basically perpendicular, pointing straight down at the modifier on the ground, just to bring a little bit of kick back up into his face. Nothing too crazy. I wasn't going for that kind of horror show type of thing going on over there, just to give a little bit more definition to the chin without blowing out this area over here. So let's just look at this really quickly. I was shooting 1/250th of a second at f8, so I'm really trying to stop down the ambient light. I didn't really want any of the natural or ambient light, because behind my backdrop are my windows, which are really super bright. I'm shooting at f8, so I'm really kind of shooting at a smaller aperture for a couple of reasons. Again, to try to minimize the amount of light, and also to get some kind of a decent depth of field. It certainly falls off because I'm at 160 millimeters, and I'm at ISO 200 because I want the best quality with the least amount of noise over here. So this is kind of the end resulting shot that I got, and I think it's nice. The catch lights aren't perfect. I think that if I had just a little bit more room, so that I could have situated that key light a little bit further away and maybe just dropped it down just a bunch, that would have given a nicer catch light to the eye, because we're just getting a little bit of that in the top of the eye, and I kind of like a little bit more in the eye. This little bit over here, I'm imagining, is probably from what I had sitting on the floor. So, you know, the catch lights, they're important to me. You know, not everybody is like, you know, maybe honed in on them. But you know, they definitely are important to me. And, you know, one thing that's really interesting is that, you know, the difference between a good headshot and a really good headshot is just a matter of a little bit of expression. And look at the frame that happened just before here. Pretty much the same shot, but look what's going on in the mouth here and the eyes. You know, there's really not a lot. You know, he's not really giving me much here. And just one frame over, look at that. Look at the difference between the two. There, you know, even just a slight bit of head tilt, a little bit of a smile here. You know, definitely a significant difference as far as, you know, what I could consider to be the shot and a shot. You know, we've got a lot of similarities here. What I do like about the lighting is I like, you know, how this side of the face is darker, so that we've got, you know, some nice, you know, shading on the side of the face. It's more slimming. The fact that we've got this highlight on this side here, so we've got somewhat of a jawline carved out there, and then because the light is coming from a higher source, you know, it also carves out more of a jawline down there. So definitely a more flattering look. And overall, I'm pretty happy with this. So this was a very kind of a quick thing. You know, we just kind of set up a bunch of lights and did this in a very, very tiny space. It's absolutely the kind of thing that you guys could do with speed lights. You don't need to be using Einsteins, but, you know, I'm kind of excited about them, and I'm trying to use them as much as possible. Trying to have, you know, a 5-foot diameter Octa box, you know, on a stand, you know, in a small it gets a little bit chaotic between, you know, the seamless backdrop, the giant Octa box, all that kind of stuff in a very, very small space. Is a little bit chaotic, and that's the beautiful thing about shooting with speed lights and smaller modifiers, where, you know, you have a little bit more flexibility. Just kind of wanted to share with you guys, you know, this shot that I did over here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and we'll see you soon.